Hi y'all, this is Regina from Regina's Crafting and More. I watched my tic-tac-toe instructional video just a little while ago and realized that I don't know what I did, but let me go through these steps. Okay, so you can watch it, but this is the file. This is what it's going to look like when you get it and the steps that it has in it. You're going to hoop tearaway stabilizer. This first color stop is a placement stitch. You can stitch it or not, but it's telling you you need to put something down. I put down something to give my boards, my pieces, some stability. I use craft fuse, deco bond, 2 layers of cutaway stabilizer, something of that nature. So you lay that down. Color stop number 2 is going to tack it down. Then you're going to lay your fabric, whether you're going to use felt or vinyl, or no, I wouldn't use vinyl, or faux leather, or cotton fabric. I use cotton fabric most of the time when I'm stitching tic-tac-toe boards. So you're going to lay that fabric down. You're going to tack it down with this color stop number 3. Then you're going to stitch this tack down. It is for the infield right here. You're going to lay your fabric or your felt or whatever you're going to use for this center section down. This color stop is going to tack that down. You're going to want to trim that fabric away. And this is a zigzag. It's a very open zigzag. It only has like half the density, less than half of the density of a regular, well, yeah, less than of a regular satin stitch. The main purpose of it is for you to trim your fabric, and it stitches this, and then you will see whether you need to trim any more fabric out of that little open zigzag. Then you're going to stitch your bases, and this is going to be the satin stitch. See the density up here on the left, on the right here. It is going to be your satin stitch that goes and stitches your baseline. You know, running the bases. Okay. So then it's going to come in and do this. Going to go like that and come back around, do that, come back around and do that, and stitch your tic-tac-toe board. Then it's going to stitch the satin stitch up here at the top. You haven't put a back on yet for the backing piece that's going to hold your game pieces. So this stop right here is telling you you need to put a back on your fabric. So you want to take your hoop off, turn it over, put on some felt or some other media, whatever you want for your to make your pocket, and then this is going to stitch it down. It's just going to tack it down, and then this stitch is going to actually stitch the satin stitch, and it starts right about here, goes around, comes down, goes around, and comes up. All right, so I'm going to let this slow stitch so you can see what I'm talking about and try to explain. All right, so there's your placement stitch. Lay down your heavy stuff, your craft fuse or deco bond or cutaway stabilizer. Then it's going to tack it down. Whoops, no, not going to tack it down, sorry. Let me do this. Let me just drag it. Okay, so you're going to lay down your craft fuse after the pink stitches, and then it's going to tack it down. Then you're going to lay your fabric down, whether it's felt or whatever. Then it's going to stitch the placement stitch for your infield. You're going to lay your fabric down, and it's going to tack it down. Now, this is the satin. It's not a satin stitch. It's an open zigzag. Okay. And if you have fabric sticking out around the edge, trim it off. Then it's going to stitch the bases. And then it's going to stitch the after it does the bases. It's going to stitch the satin stitch. That's why you want to make sure after this red part stitches that you've got that fabric trimmed way back, so there's no fabric sticking out. Okay, and then it's going to do the tic-tac-toe board. Okay, I'm going to speed that up. And then it does that piece at the top, which is going to be the opening on the front of your board. That is the tack down, or the whatever you want to call it, tack down for your piece that's on the back. That's extra tack down. So let me back this up. So after it stitches your bases and it stitches this top piece, I'm going to slow it down. After it stitches a top piece, there it stitches at. This next step is actually a placement line, but I would suggest you go ahead and put your backing on your, take your hoop off, put your backing on it, put your hoop back on, and stitch this line in addition to the next one. Okay, so this is kind of extra protection, if you will. Okay, so it'll stitch that, and you've got your felt on the back for the pocket, and then it's going to come back and it's going to stitch it again. And then it's going to do your satin stitching. So that thing's not going to come apart. You can skip stitching the pink placement line for the back of your tic-tac-toe board if you want, and just stitch the blue. But I would suggest stitching at least 2 of those 3. So this is the placement and kind of pre-tack down after you put your fabric on the back, and then it tacks it down again, and then it does the satin stitch. You can skip this step if you want. I like stitching all of them because it gives me extra security that back end will come off of there. All right, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, give me a private message in Facebook or post below, and I'll be glad to help you. Thanks for watching. Bye.